How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to Park to Prem. It's episode number 51. It's the start of season number 7, and I have a feeling it's going to be another relegation scrap this season. Yes, of course, it does go without saying. If you didn't see last episode, probably should go watch it before this one. Couple of transfer specials to start the week now, the start of the season, where to kick things off, we're going up against an Everton team with a media prediction of 14th. That is a lot lower than I thought it would be. Could we beat them? I mean, let's be honest, it would be a great way to open up the Premier League season. We have been bestowed the honour of playing the first game of the year. You'd think then that we'd have loads of new exciting players that the media want us to put on full display. Obviously, if you watched the last couple of videos, not quite how things have worked out. Now, of course, over the summer, we sold a lot of scraps to the team, and ordinarily, I start the season by doing a kind of squad rundown. That doesn't actually feel that necessary this year, because there's only actually 4 new signings to the squad who weren't here last year. Of course, they are players who were here last year on loan that we've signed permanently, 2 of them. The first, Philip Rolk, 24 years old, really, really good centre-back. We signed him for a bargain fee of £5 million. Obviously, he's still 24 years old, room to grow, and, well, just as a reminder, he was the best centre-back out there. I don't know if it's just me who was shocked by this. I mean, let me know in the comments, but I was shocked that our reputation didn't rise more off the back of last year. When you look at teams in England sorted by reputation, you can see here, our reputation is that of like a firmly planted mid-table championship team. It didn't really go up for the year just gone, or it went up a very small amount. It has made recruitment hard again this year. The other man we had last year who's back on a permanent basis is Jimmy J. Morgan. Popped up with some important goals for us. One of the areas of the team I've tried to address this year is just a little bit more firepower in the final third. Hopefully he's going to contribute towards that. And the other man who I'm hoping is going to contribute firepower, Will Lancashire. We've paid £20 million to this guy. I do feel like he's really good, super consistent, loves important matches, pacey forward. I feel like when you look at his polygon and the attributes that he is a very, very complete advanced forward. It's probably where he's going to be playing for us this year, although he might still find himself at pressing forward from time to time. And the other big transfer we made was Matthew Miller, undoubtedly the player that is perhaps the most controversial signing we've made. We spent a lot of money on this 21-year-old. Of course, we already have Ajaria, who is a great English right-back. We signed him for £17 million. He had a good year in League One, albeit that is League One. But I do like this guy as a long-term right-back option. Given the lack of options out there, I kind of didn't want to leave £20 million unspent, and rather than spend it on a few kind of meh players, I thought, let's get in Matthew Miller, a player who has quality now, has a lot of potential too. Final couple of transfers, more squad players. Louis Binks here comes in just to be a squad option at centre-back. We lost Will Fish and Mbete over the summer, needed someone who could play centre-back and preferably was left-footed. He ticks both those boxes. And Nicky Meredith we signed from Everton in on loan. Really good player. He's already capped for the England national team. Kind of surprised Everton are loaning him out. Of course, he can't play against his parent club in the first game this year. Don't think he'll be starting all that many games for us, but as a super sub option, I think he could be nice. Like I said, when you look at the starting 11 and what I consider my best 11, I suppose the good news here actually is we're pretty much at full strength. Aaron Ramsey has got a little bit of an injury to start the year, but I do feel like he and Amari Hutchinson would have been battling it out in the final third. Of the new additions that we've signed who weren't here last year, Lancashire is the one who I think has to go straight into the team. I do feel like he and Rashid Mohammed are going to be battling it out for that spot to play alongside Sheldon this year, but at least on the face of things here, I do feel like Lancashire just has the edge. What I will say is having a player of Rashid Mohammed's quality on the bench is just not really something we had last year. Game-changing players on the bench we lacked. It meant that we struggled to turn around games. Now, we have still got some transfers going on at the moment. A few loanings out of good youth players. Someone like Beta Ahmed, I think, just needs some regular first-team football. Hopefully, he can get that at Bromley. Elsewhere, you might remember in the under-21s, there was a load of players who I was trying to get rid of. And in fact, if I just sort by age here, there's still a load that are transfer listed. Some of these have now got bids on them. That is due to an intermediary who apparently is best friends with Bochum manager. Speaking of Bochum, they're playing in the 3rd tier of Germany, and for whatever reason, they're trying to sign loads of Wanderers players. They've already bought Bob Davis off me via this intermediary. Bob Davis is a good player, but I just felt like a few £100,000 was probably worth getting for him. I think with a lot of these players, their valuation is kind of just based on the fact they have potential. It's potential I don't think they're going to reach. Jake White would be the biggest of these sales. £1.7 million guaranteed. We would get, I think, £4.3 million based on some clauses and instalments. He's a good player. Getting a few million for him, though, I think is a smart bit of business. Now, in terms of transfers in, nothing really going on at the moment. There is still some wage budget and transfer budget out there. I'm kind of tempted to rejig it and lower the wage budget so our transfer budget looks a little more impressive. But yeah, we could end up spending more money before the transfer window closes. But the reality is right now, our first team squad sits at 26 players. I don't really need more players. Instead, what I'm going to be hoping is our current crop of players are good enough to keep us up. Of course, board expectation for this year is still just attempt to avoid relegation. Gives me some solace that if we struggle like we did last year and can't make that late comeback, I hopefully wouldn't lose my job over it. I went into this season feeling really optimistic of trying to build on the previous season. As the summer's gone on and we've been unable to strengthen the team, it has kind of made me realise it is going to be another tough season for us. In terms of the season preview, we are positioned below all the newly promoted teams. It is going to be another season of struggles. But you know what? First game of the year away against Everton, it could be a worse game. We played Arsenal on the opening game of last year. I'm going to hope we can come back with this new season and get things off with 3 points. After today's game, by the way, Leeds United up next at home. Media prediction for them of 16th. That's the kind of game at home we really need to be winning if we want to avoid a relegation scrap like the one we had last year. So in terms of team news for today's game, we are just about at full strength. Like I mentioned, Aaron Ramsey is out injured. It does mean that we're going to move Hutchinson into the attacking mid position and hope that he can do the business there. Gavin Wallace, a left wing back, is going to get more opportunities this year. Came through our academy. We've slowly been bedding him into the team. To be fair, last year, whilst he only started 5 league games, he came on off the bench on 25 occasions. We gave him lots and lots of minutes, developed nicely, want to continue his development on the left-hand side. Over on the right-hand side, of course, Ajaria holds down his position in the team. Our vice-captain is, I feel like, an underrated player. I talked about this a bit last episode. I feel like because he climbed up through the leagues and then he struggled a bit in the Premier League, people are quick to discount him. I feel like he's got a point to prove this year. For me as well as you guys, I need him to show that he can continue to develop. Naturally, given the fact he played through every division from the National League to the Premier League back to back to back, it was very unlikely his development was going to keep up through all of that. It didn't really last year. This year, though, maybe things can be different. In terms of the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, it's the exact same setup as last year. Of course, Anson was an absolute hero in the last game of the season, or rather the last episode of the season. Last game of the season, he didn't do as much against Man City. He is a reason why we are here in the Premier League again this year. Got to keep some faith with him. He actually improved a little bit last year too. Flood and McConnell are going to line up in the centre of our team alongside one another. Flood, of course, the more creative force in our team. McConnell, the more defensive player, who on occasion last year did play right wing back. If Ajaria struggles, most likely solution will be to move McConnell wide, bring in a new defensive mid. Up top, I already talked about the likes of Rashid Mohammed and Lancashire, and of course Jimmy J. Morgan, who's another great attacking option for us. Nicky Meredith, I think, can provide firepower when needed, but to start today's game, there's only one man who can start alongside Lancashire. It's Marcus Sheldon. I am hoping, for the sake of Lancashire, he gets off to a scoring start early on this year. Hopefully that price tag of 20 million isn't going to loom over his head all year long. Anyway, Everton and Leeds today, trying to get the players all inspired, fired up and motivated. They love it, we love it. We are playing at Everton's new stadium. Looking at their team here, you know what, that's quite a good team, isn't it? Kind of surprised they've still got Beto up front, but he's still a very good football manager-y kind of striker. I feel like strikers that are pacey, have good jumping reach and strength, they're just quite good in the match engine. And on the other side of things, they've got James Trafford in goal. Very good English goalkeeper. He's actually a player who I had on my radar when I started this save game as potentially a goalkeeper I could end up using in the Premier League. I'll be honest, didn't think Caleb Anson was going to be the man we'd land on, at least for now. You might remember, end of last season, I wore the England kit for luck. I thought, get it in the wash quickly over the summer transfer window so I can wear it today and hope it manifests something. One thing I haven't actually talked about yet, and I probably should have done, did you spot the changes in roles? We'll talk about it in a moment. What has Arian B done there? We've given away a penalty. Arian B's implying that he's died. I think you've pushed him over there, mate. Is it going to be given? It is going to be given. Right, Caleb Anson, you saved a penalty against Villa in the penultimate game of last year. Can you start this season how you ended the last one? Soler steps up and parks our goalkeeper on his bottom. And it's 1-0. Wasn't necessarily coming into this game expecting us to win. Giving away a penalty inside 20 minutes, not optimal if you want to get anything. The thing I just mentioned with player roles, by the way, is I've dropped the deep line playmaker on defend for a regista in Flood. You might remember he played that role once upon a time in League One for us. He suits it to a T. Just want to see how it works out for us this year. If we feel like we're leaving ourselves a bit exposed at the back, it's something we might look to change. Originally, the deep line playmaker on defend was something we brought in because we were playing Amari Hutchinson Everton at left wing back, and I felt like it would give him a bit of extra coverage upon our promotion to the Championship. I feel like Regista's just a bit more of a free role. Flood didn't shine last year like I thought he might. I suppose the good news is we've been good defensively in this game. The bad news is it is 1-0 to Everton at the break. They scored their penalty and they had one more shot in the half. This has been an awful game of football. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jack. What happens when you're not winning games this year? No, I'm not going to this. This formation didn't really work often enough. I have got a new plan B. The plan B is this. We go to 3 strikers and we make use of the fact that we have the likes of Rashid Mohammed, Lancashire and Sheldon in the team. Is it premature for me to switch to the attacking formation at half-time against Everton? You know what? I think we had one shot in that first half. I'm going to do something ballsy here. I like balls. Let's be ballsy. Lancashire through the middle, Sheldon on the right, Rashid Mohammed on the left. Use all the firepower we've got. Why not? I feel like this year our strikers is going to be one of the big differentials that we didn't exactly have to the same degree last year. With that in mind, there's times where I want to get more attacking. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, is he? We've got teleporting footballers. Everton do have a free kick here. This scares me. We've already conceded a penalty. A free kick would really be a gut punch. Before we've even had a chance to see if the attacking formation could work, we could have found ourselves under fire. Soler on this occasion misses the target. And now we've got an opportunity here. Flood, Wallace whips it back post. Ajaria scores. It's from the left back to the right back. Coast to coast. It's 1-1. Now, with the 3 striker system, I'm hoping we can just cause a bit more chaos in the final third. The 2 pressing forwards playing on support will drop fairly deep as well to hopefully plug that gap between the defensive midfielders and the attackers. Of course, you'll notice McConnell is now set up as a volante with Flood at Regista. They are 2 fairly mobile centre mid roles, which I'm hoping are going to bridge that gap in the final third when required. I feel like old school Park to Prem fans are thinking back to Towel or Town when we played 3 strikers in the Premier League and smiling. This is what they've dreamed of for years. We're coming under a siege of corners. Can we wait out this siege? Can we brace ourselves and deal with it when it comes in? Okay, for a second I thought it was going to be given as a penalty. There's a handball in there on behalf of Everton. We've got away with it. We're already 15 minutes into the second half and it already feels more action-packed than the first. Trafford, a long way out of goal, the goalkeeper here. Gives it to Branthwaite. Back now with the centre-back. 3 strikers trying to harass and cause them issues as they play it out from the back. But Everton, at least for now, dealing with it well until Lancashire finds himself in behind. I've spent £20 million for him to miss the target there completely. I say that. It's a corner. Must have had a touch on it that I didn't spot. It's 1-1. Wallace whips it in. Trafford collects. 27 minutes left, I'm going to make more changes. Sheldon came into this game with a little bit of a knock and he was a bit of a doubt really. I'm going to bring in Morgan to play as pressing forward. Elsewhere, McConnell at defensive midfielder has not been at his best today. Gavin Gallagher, it might be too premature to bring in Gavin Gallagher. He's definitely not a Segundo Volante either, but he's our new young centre mid and I kind of want to give him a chance. I suppose the other option would be to play Gallagher as the Regista, which he can really do, and then play Flood as the Segundo Volante. That probably works better, although Flood's a bit tired. There is a temptation, to be honest, to bring in Haig Dolk as well and just inject some fresh legs into the midfield. Last year, I swapped the wing-backs a lot during matches. This year, or this match rather, I don't want to do it because 1 scored, 1 assisted our only goal. What I will say is 20 minutes into this half, we have turned the tide of this battle. I think Everton have had 1 or 2 shots so far in the second half. We're creating more, we're having a bit more of the ball, and we're knocking it around with confidence here. Haig, Dolk, Morgan, the subs linking up. He goes down in a heap, he crumples. VAR is going to be consulted for a penalty. They got a penalty earlier. It's only right that we should get a penalty too. Please, Football Manager. Penalty review is happening. Is it going to be given? We wait with bated breath. Please be given. I'm pleading with the game. No penalty. That never is given as no penalty. Are you saying that Jimmy J. Morgan dived? Because he's a man of integrity. He would never dive. I'm going to encourage the players here. 20 minutes left. Green, happy, smiley faces. I was going to say across the board, there's some miserable sods along the bottom, but we are, well, I feel like getting the momentum on our side. Saying all of that, Everton in possession, bringing it forward. Soler, Patterson, options in the middle. Loads of players to aim for. Hoey clears it. Oh, my word. That would have been a goal of the season contender if he'd volleyed that in there. It's gone just over. 15 minutes left. This game feels like it has another goal in it. Anyone else feeling like that? Maybe it's just me. I feel like there is something more to come here. Lancashire, Mohammed, Wallace. The front three there, linking up nicely. Wallace. Can he pull it back? He gives it to Gallagher, fresh off the bench to Dolk. His shot's blocked. It falls to Ajaria. It falls to Morgan and it's in the back of the net via Will Lancashire. He scores on his debut. It's not a pretty opening goal for the season, but it's a goal that matters. I'm not even sure what happened here. Dolk had his shot blocked by our own man. It fell to Ajaria. Morgan and Lancashire are battling for it, and Lancashire, in playground style, has stolen that goal. I'm all for it. You know what? You're new to the team. You need your first goal. Steal it. I'm fine. I do feel like maybe I should have gone back to the non-attacking system, having gone 2-1 up. Am I going to regret not pausing the game and making changes because I was too busy waffling to make an entertaining video? Everton are on the attack here. They shoot. I was not far wide. Okay, you know what? We've done our job here so far. Jimmy J. Morgan can play at centre attack in mid, so this is like a nice, easy change to revert back to how we'd normally play. Gallagher, you are just going to play defensive deep line playmaker now. I need some solidity to just see out this game. Everton have gone to a 4-2-4, so they are really committing men up the pitch. There is 4 minutes remaining here. We're edging out the XG. Remember, their XG is inflated by a penalty as well. We have done well in this game. Can we get over the line? We need to grit our teeth here. 2 minutes. Football Manager, why are you advancing so slowly? Why are you making me suffer? It's not making me suffer at all. I am bloody delighted. 2-1, a win on the opening game of the year. Ajaria man of the match. What a comeback. I mean, take a screenshot. Where's my Steam screenshot button? There we go. Top of the league. No one can deny that. We are the best team in England. Stop the season now. Lancashire scores on his debut. That was kind of something I was really hoping was going to happen for me to help justify the £20 million price tag for him. Elsewhere, Alex Deering was selling, you can see here, for £425,000. It could rise up to £750,000. You might remember Alex Deering. If you don't, here's his Polygon. We've got £500,000 for this guy. I can't really be mad. Shout out to Bochum for making an offer. He played 2 games for us ever, got 1 goal in them. Tell you what, he wasn't far away from getting a testimonial after 10 seasons. Ajaria, by the way, man of the match in that game. Somehow he got an assist as well as a goal. I'm not sure how he's pulled that one off. He's happy. I'm happy. He signed a new contract in the summer. You know what? Maybe that's why he underperformed last year. He was just sad. Now, in terms of the second game coming up today, Leeds United at home. Of the 2 games, I thought this next one was the most winnable. We could open up the season with 2 wins in a row. That would be amazing. Let's see if we can go make it happen. So no new transfers to talk about since the last match. I did try and get some board requests through to improve the training facilities and youth level. All denied. Gonna hope that we can make money like we did last year. Our overall balance currently sits at £2 million. Of course, we spent a kind of silly amount of money over the summer. But as we saw last year, we made money month on month on month with all the Premier League TV money that comes in. It was really significant, kind of £5 million. Our wage spend has gone up this year by about £200,000. But I would not be surprised to see our overall balance north of kind of 25 million by the end of the year, pre-prize money as well. So maybe I just need to wait a little bit. Would be good to improve the facilities because whilst they're good, they're not kind of Premier League level good anymore. So today we are taking on Leeds United. They had a good opening game to the season as well and find themselves in 10th place. Currently worth noting, we're battling a few new injuries in our ranks. McConnell out for the foreseeable future. The defensive midfielder out for 4 to 5 weeks. Not all that good because I felt like he was pretty solid last game. And elsewhere, a man who maybe could have been in line to replace him, Joe Bellingham, has also picked up a semi-serious injury. A plantar fasciitis. I don't know what that is. It sounds serious, doesn't it? He's out for 3 weeks. I could apparently risk him. We're not going to risk him, obviously. I was umming and ahhing as well about the idea of maybe going to the free striker system for this home game. It works so well against Leeds United. Like I mentioned, when it comes to the more kind of counter-attacky system that we played last year, I switched up the regista from a deep line playmaker just to try and fill the gap a little bit more between our deeper players and our more forward players. As we saw against Everton, this shifting system can work really, really nicely. We still have that solid base of 7 players behind the ball, but we've got the regista Batista and Segundo Volante, two players that will move up and down the pitch fairly excessively. On top of that, on the wing-backs with this system, I have them set to stay wider and cut inside with the ball as kind of the two instructions. Worth noting, Wallace has the preferred instruction, dribbles down the left-hand side, so he doesn't like it as much. Ajaria, on the other hand, does have this stay wider, cut inside with ball. This works really, really nicely, because when we're in possession, we are set to play really, really narrow. Because I've got the wing-backs on stay wider, it kind of overwrites that team instruction a little bit, so they will go into wider areas, but with that cut inside with the ball instruction, they will look to attack the space in behind that the pressing forwards are creating via their own runs, and hopefully just deal with the normal downside of this kind of system where there is just a big disconnect between the players back and the players forward. Anyway, in the team, Dolk is going to come in and play at the Segundo Volante role. I think I'm going to try the attacking system from the rip here. I want to see if it was a fluke or not. And of all the games to try it in, Leeds United, who have a media prediction of 16th, is probably one of the most likely candidates for a team where I would play this system from the off. Besides McConnell being dropped, the only other change is Amari Hutchinson making way for Mohamed Rashid to be on the bench. Gonna hope that works in our favour. We're at home. Let's score a few more goals, hopefully. Okay, let's see if it was a fluke or not. The free striker system is a system I have used as a newly promoted team. I mentioned last match. I used it with Town years ago, and it worked, kind of. I think we scored the most goals and were relegated with Town, minor spoilers if you've never watched that series. I do feel like with all the attacking talent we have this year and the money that we have invested in that area, going to free strikers, at least just to see if it can work, is probably worth trying. Sometimes the best form of defense is to get the ball forward and play on the front foot, which we're going to try and do here. Lancashire was offside. He skewed his shot wide of the mark anyway, but at least we created something early. We now got a corner, which Sheldon's going to whip in. Rashid Mohammed leaps, doesn't get there, falls towards Rolk. Ball comes down, Flood. Sheldon, nice play here. Sheldon back to Rolk, the centre-back. Can't get his shot away. Leeds United trying to, I think, create some kind of counter-attack, but they have given the ball back to us, and we will now look to build it out from the back again. Arian B attacking the space as a centre-back is good. Not so good when you run straight into the opposition. Good news, though, he's won the ball back well. Bad news, Flood has forgotten that the ball exists in the game of football, and now Abu Diaby is bringing it forward. I do not like this. Grant, edge of the box shoots, is blocked. Diaby, the pace wizard himself, dominating this left-hand side, back inside to Grant. He could pull the trigger from range here. He does. That is a ridiculous save by Anson. Okay, even opening to this game so far, 16 minutes played, 3 shots each, 1 shot on target each. We are edging out possession just slightly, and we're getting the ball into Sheldon, back to Flood. Nice pass there, actually, to spot Flood. Now with Wallace, Mohammed, lovely build-up play. Really trying to create the overloads in the final third. It falls to Lancashire. It's a gift. He scores. Is he onside? Rashid Mohammed won the interception and then laid it off to Lancashire. He got one last game. Is he going to get one this game? Is it going to count? You bet your bottom dollar it is. And we're a goal up. We looked competent. Wallace to Rashid Mohammed. He lost the ball here and I was a bit annoyed, but suddenly he latched onto the loose ball, worked hard to get it back, and Lancashire, 2 goals in 2. It's the best £20 million I've ever spent. A goal to the good here. Half an hour played. We're getting a lot of joy down the left-hand side, it has to be said. Can we get another goal before the break? You'd say, based on the stats here, it'd probably be in keeping with how this game has played out if we were to get another. Instead, it's half-time already. Okay, half-time in this game, 1 goal to the good. Delighted with the poor performance so far. Sheldon is struggling a little bit again. Was coming back from an injury to start the year. His match sharpness is, well, actually quite good, but I don't know. He's not played well in this game. I'm kind of tempted to bring in Nicky Meredith and see what he can do. We've signed him from Everton on loan. Want to give him some game time. I don't know, you know what? He's got a bit of creativity about him. I think he could be quite a good fit for the pressing forward role. It's weird, right? The pressing forward role in-game doesn't actually tell you that passing and vision are important, but with how it functions in this system where they are going to drop deeper into kind of the channels and hold on to the ball for the on-runners, be that the wing-backs or the players in the middle, I do feel like just having the ability to pass the ball is kind of semi-useful. Really bigged up Ajaria last match, didn't I? He's currently on a 6.7 here. It's not ideal. I kind of want to give Matthew Miller his debut. I mean, on the one hand, I want to give him his debut because we've spent £17 million on him. On the other hand, he's still learning to play right wing back and hasn't learned it. But you know what? Trial by fire, let's bring him on. I can't spend as much money as I've spent on Matthew Miller with his potential and then be scared to play him. I've got to accept that he's going to make mistakes. He's hopefully going to learn from them. And with regular game time, he's going to be able to pick up the position that we're asking him to play as a wing-back in our team. Anyway, Cunningham gives it to Phillips, back with Berg here. I feel like teams looking to pass the ball out from the back are going to come really unstuck potentially against our free strikers if they work hard. Lancashire has ended up with the ball here. He shoots. I mean, he forces Meslier to make a save. It would have been a banger of a goal. Never truly believed it was going in. We have now got a corner, which Gavin Wallace is going to take and look for Hoey. Doesn't pick out the intended man. Leeds on the back foot to start this half, though. Did a little shout to the team. Got some green, happy, smiley faces. Dolk has struggled a little bit at defensive midfielder. The issue I've got here is that the usual suspects aren't available for today's game. Obviously, McConnell is out injured. Joe Bellingham's out injured. The two options I have are Gallagher, who featured last game, but I definitely view as more of an alternative to Flood, or alternatively, Burgess comes into the team. Remember Burgess? Yeah, we signed him back in League One. Loaned him out for the last 2 years. Played regularly in the Championship last year. Feel like I'm going to have to call upon him here. I need his fresh legs in the middle. Not sure I back him quite as much as a Segundo Volante as I do our other options. Going to change him to a defensive mid on support. We'll still look to get forward on occasion because of the in possession instruction. Look for underlap on the right-hand side. But just as a defensive midfielder, hopefully he will just be a little more sensible when he does decide to go forward. Gavin Wallace with a corner. I need another goal here. I want to get another goal. I feel like we've had the momentum to get it. And could it land here? Lancashire scores. It's another scrappy goal, but he's in the right place at the right time. 3 goals today for him. And we are cruising. Wallace with the outswinging corner on his left foot here. Hoey, really intelligent kind of header here to nod it back into danger. Rashid Mohammad's shot was blocked. Will Lancashire, though, reacts quickest and tucks it into the bottom corner. Last game, I went to the more defensive system late on. This game here, I want to stay on the front foot. There's 5 minutes of added time. Leeds with a corner to get one back. Hoey half heads it away. I'd like to believe that even if they get one back, we'll hold on for the result here. That is not a good defensive header. And they nearly scored an overhead kick. That could have been disastrous. Anson's held on to it. There's still another corner. There's 30 seconds left. A clean sheet would be lovely. Rondon lays it wide. Diaby cutting inside on his left foot. It falls to Beeref, who scores. I think the referee had his hand raised there. Is this going to count? Beeref is running away with the ball, so I assume he thinks it's onside. I mean, there's like 10 seconds left of the game, so it should be inconsequential. The goal is going to stand. We lose the clean sheet. I don't have to pay a clean sheet bonus, I guess. Oh, a bit of a down note to end the match on, but if we hold on for 2-1 here, you know what? That would be fine with me. Lots of scrappy goals today, it has to be said. And you know what? We are going to hold on in this game. 2-1 win. Rashid Mohammed with 2 assists actually picks up man of the match, playing as that third striker, maybe justifying the fact that I didn't decide to just play him on the bench. All of a sudden, having had success with this formation, I'm beginning to wonder, do I just play this more often than I was planning to? Everyone is happy. Green, smiley, happy faces across the board. And we're in the Champions League spots alongside Burnley. That is football heritage right there. I mean, last year we scored, what was it, 30? Was it 38 points, 39 points we scored last year in the end? I now want to double check this. It was 39 points we scored last year. We've already got 6 points this year. We're way on the way to surpassing last year's total. Granted, I don't want to get carried away too early. Now, in terms of when we're going to be back next time, I'll be honest, our upcoming run of fixtures is actually really brutal, so getting results today was important. We've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle, and then Arsenal, 5 games in a row. I almost don't want to come back for those games because I'm scared we're going to get ruined in them. It might be a case of coming back in November where we're desperately looking to turn around our fortunes and get some results. Between now and then, I might look to invest some money in the squad if the right option's out there. I suppose if you want to find out, do I invest the money? Tune in next time to find out. They say you're meant to have sexy hooks in videos to make people come back. Wasn't very sexy, but you should come back tomorrow. Thank you so much for your support on this series. As always, surpassing 50 episodes. We are into season 7. I hope you're ready for what's to come. I'll see you tomorrow for more. I'm out.